So actually my wife suggested this. Thanks, Cindy, if you're watching. She suggested we do a topic about vitamin D because like it is in the news like so much. And I didn't really realize that, but when I did a search for like vitamin D like news articles, like it was just like pages and pages like just from this week. And so, you know, I remember a little bit about vitamin D from med school, but I'm not sure everybody knows, you know, all the basics about vitamin D, so I wanted to kind of just talk about it. So what is vitamin D? So it's a fat-soluble vitamin that helps the body absorb both calcium and phosphorus. And you may or may not know that calcium and phosphorus are really important for bone formation. Also, vitamin D helps with reducing cancer cell growth if people have cancer. It helps fight infection. It also reduces inflammation. So it's a pretty important vitamin. So the big question is, you know, how do we get vitamin D? Well, there's 3 ways you can get vitamin D. One is the sun, one is foods, and the third way is supplements. And so I brought some questions for you guys. I know you love questions.
Yes.
All right, Travis, throw up the first question. All right, so, and I did not know the answer to this question myself, so I'm not sure I would have gotten this right. But how much sun exposure in a day do you need to get your total allotment of vitamin D? So you think it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Travis, lay it on us.
I'll say A.
15 minutes. Sarah?
B.
30 minutes. Okay, Travis, you're right.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, so it's about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, that does vary by like how intense the sun is. That 15 minutes is just kind of like an average amount, but it needs to be like 10 to 15 minutes of like pretty like direct like midday sunlight. And so I thought it was going to be more. I didn't realize it was that small of amount. So, you know, but the thing is nowadays, you know, people say stay out of the sun and cover up. And so, you know, it's potential that people could not be getting enough vitamin D from the sun. Also, if it's winter or if you like live in a place that's really cloudy, like, you know, Seattle or Portland or whatever, or if you just avoid the sun. So also there's a follow-up question in that. Travis, throw up the next one, will you? So if all things being equal, what group out of these 4 is more at risk for vitamin D deficiency? Is it Caucasians, Asian, Hispanic, or African American?
I'll say D, African American.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You'd be absolutely right. And the reason for that is the darker your skin tone is, it acts like shade to those molecules that create the vitamin D. And so if you're very fair, then your body makes vitamin D easier than if you have a darker skin tone. So in general, African Americans have to be a little bit more aware of if their, you know, vitamin D levels are good enough. So,
I've heard that too.
Yeah, did you know that? Oh, wow, very good. I actually didn't know that either. Like I learned a lot, like just going over it. I probably knew this stuff when I was like in, you know, med school, but.
You're just a little rusty.
Well, it's like, you know, I'm a plastic surgeon, so I'm not like talking to you about, oh, is your vitamin D levels okay before you come get this liposuction or whatever. But I remember, you know, bits and pieces from med school, but, you know, refreshing my memory was good. Okay, so we said you can get it from the sun and food sources. So I listed out the food sources that have good vitamin D, and a lot of these I remembered. Fish is really high in vitamin D, and so like where it says salmon, like that's 66% of your daily value of vitamin D can come from salmon. Can of tuna, 35%. I don't know who eats sardines and herrings. I guess maybe in England or something. But you can get 25 to 27.
My dad loved sardines.
I remember eating them when I was a kid, but I don't even know if you can buy them around here anymore.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
Cans.
Can you? Okay. Cod liver oil, a teaspoon will give you 50% of your vitamin D. So like an egg or egg yolk, 5%. Mushrooms is the only non-animal product food that I could find that actually provides vitamin D, and it's a fair amount. A serving of mushrooms can give you 17% of your daily vitamin D. Cow or soy milk, 15%. Fortified cereal or oatmeal can have up to 15%. Fortified OJ, 12%. And fortified cheeses up to 10%. So, well, actually, the cheeses don't have to be fortified. Well, I think they are fortified. Some of them are, because I've seen cheese packets that say with extra calcium, or with extra vitamin D, sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, those food sources can help supplement you if you're not out in the sun a whole lot. So what is vitamin D deficiency? I think I got one more question up here. All right. So there is a disease that comes about from vitamin...
Herpes.
Herpes? Is that your answer, Sarah? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So is it scurvy, rickets, impotence, or herpes? I think, Travis, you're up. Or I can't remember who's up.
I think scurvy is like a pirate's disease or something
It
like
is.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say B.
Rickets?
Oh man.
Besides, that's the only one I don't know what it means, I guess.
I'm just gonna say A.
Scurvy. Okay, so I will tell you, the answer is B, rickets. Scurvy is a deficiency of vitamin C. You're right
Okay.
about it being a pirate's disease. Scurvy was something that sailors and pirates got because they couldn't get vitamin C. And so, have you ever heard the term limey, like a British person?
Like limey.
A limey, L-I-M-E-Y,
I've
limey.
not.
You guys haven't heard that?
I have
Okay.
not.
So it's like a slang term for a British person, a limey. The reason they were called limeys is the British Navy would supply limes to their sailors so that they wouldn't get scurvy. And
Oh,
so they were
okay,
called
cool.
limeys. Yeah.
Limey.
But the answer is rickets for vitamin D. That's
Okay.
the deficiency disease for vitamin
So
D.
what exactly, I guess, is rickets?
Yeah, so rickets is a disease that comes about when your vitamin D deficiency is low as a kid and your bone formation can't happen correctly.
Okay.
So you can get malformations of your bones, you get muscle weakness, joint pain, and like these weird growth patterns where, the limbs don't necessarily look like they should.
Okay.
So rickets is very rare because, most kids are out in the sun. Like, kids are generally outside
Yeah.
more than adults. So it's unusual that you would find a kid to have rickets these days. Plus, parents are all giving their kids vitamins and they drink milk and all that. But if there was a vitamin D deficiency, that disease is called rickets. So in adults,
Can you have be predisposed to have rickets more so than other people? Like if your body doesn't
yes.
metabolize vitamin D
I don't.
like other people?
There are some diseases that we're going to talk about that,
Yeah.
that yes, you can. Now, as a child, I don't remember seeing any children's diseases specifically that run a high risk of vitamin D deficiency. I'm sure they exist because some adult diseases do and probably would translate, but it's just more rare that a kid would have these diseases.
Yeah,
Because generally
sure.
kids are a little bit healthier. That's a great question. For adults, if you have vitamin D deficiency, you can get fatigue, bone pain, muscle weakness, and also depression. I love when segments come full circle because remember when we did seasonal affective disorder? We
touched base with
did.
vitamin D.
Yeah, exactly right. We talked about how if you, in the winter, there's not as much sun, your vitamin D levels can drop, and then you can get depression. And that's actually...
I have one of my friends bought me for Christmas this little light,
Oh, right.
and it's supposed to feel like sunlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It
talked
makes
about
you
that.
feel
That was a
better.
treatment for seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
Do you use it?
Yeah, I put it in my office at my store.
Nice.
I don't have a window. So if I'm
Oh.
in there all day, I
Yeah.
don't see the windows or anything.
I wonder if that light, do you know if that light will cause vitamin D formation? Is it UVB? Probably not because
I
UV.
don't know.
You-
It's from Amazon. I don't think it was that super expensive.
Yeah, that's interesting. If it has UVB light, then that does stimulate vitamin D.
Oh, okay.
It might. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm always
I
by
like
your
it.
store. I'll drop in and we'll take a look at it. All right. So how many Americans potentially suffer from vitamin D deficiency? Well, it's actually higher than I thought. Because I know I've been on here saying, oh, if you live in America, you don't have to worry too much about vitamin deficiency. Well, I read some studies that said up to 1/3 of Americans have vitamin D deficiency. Now, I think it's a lot of at-risk patients because we're going to talk about people that, are more at risk. But I was kind of surprised. So, and if you think your vitamin D levels might be low, like if you're in one of these groups or maybe you just, hate the sun or whatever, your
Yeah.
doctor can check your levels. That's an easy lab to draw. It's not something that's common, so you'd have to mention to them, or maybe hopefully they would mention to you, like, do you get out in the sun or, do you think you get enough vitamins? I don't know. But doctors can check that level. And as far as how much vitamin D you need, so like if you're thinking about it like in a dosage, it's either international units or micrograms. So for most adults, 600 international units, which is 15 micrograms. If you're older, where you need that increase for your bone mass, it's 800 international units or 20 micrograms. So I do want to talk about the people who are most at risk for vitamin D deficiency, because if you know somebody that's in this group,
Yeah.
if you want to be like a good friend or family member, you might just mention to them that these are the people that are more at risk for vitamin D deficiency. So postmenopausal women is one. They're always, because you've heard of osteoporosis, right, as women get older. So vitamin D deficiency is very prevalent in that group. Anybody who takes long-term steroids, which is a lot of people, there's a lot of different diseases that require you to take steroids, which affects your vitamin D levels. Elderly people, once again, the older we get, you need that vitamin
Stay
D
up.
for bone mass.
That you don't go outside.
Or you don't go outside. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. People that are pregnant or breastfeeding, like they're more prone to be vitamin D deficiency. The next one are diseases. People who have chronic kidney disease or parathyroid disease. Parathyroid helps regulate calcium and phosphorus. So people with those diseases tend to have a little bit higher risk of vitamin D deficiency. People who are obese don't have as high level of vitamin D, so they're at risk. And we said it early, right at the beginning, African Americans, because they have the darker skin tone. Or, very dark Hispanic, could be in that group as well. So lastly, I want to talk about supplements. There's a huge market for vitamin D supplements. I think most people probably don't need them. Like, I'm not saying you have to run out and start taking vitamin D supplements. It's just, this is the information. Be aware. Think about, are you getting out in the sun enough? Are you in one of those high-risk groups? If you are going to do supplements, there are generally two kinds. There's vitamin D2, which is called ergocalciferol. And that comes from plants. And there's vitamin D3, which is cholecalciferol. That's the animal product one. The vitamin D3, the second one, is better. There's been a lot of studies that show that one is more absorbed and helps increase your vitamin
I think
D.
I have a vitamin
you do?
D3 gummy at my house.
Oh, do you? Do you take a lot of supplements or some?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on if I'm on a kick or something. Yeah. I mean, I'm always taking protein.
Yeah.
That's the only supplement I really take is protein powder a lot. But
because you're working out.
the other stuff, it's like when I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's a gummy.
Yeah, it's like, maybe just make sure my vitamin D levels are good today. Yeah, I'm bad about that. Like, I don't take any supplements really. In fact, one thing I did do this past week. I went to the doctor for the first time in forever, and so actually he says in pretty good health. My blood pressure was really good. I don't normally check my blood pressure. I was 110/70. It's it's pretty good because certainly someone in my age could have high blood pressure.
Yeah, I've gotten prescribed blood pressure medication.
Oh, you
before.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, was it around pregnancy or?
Well, I had preeclampsia towards the end of my pregnancy, but I have a tendency to get really, really, really stressed out.
And that affects
my
your
blood pressure goes up really.
I'm
high.
a pretty chill guy, so I think the stress thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
I pretend to be chill.
You
but
pretend to be.
inside,
You seem very chill. On the show, it's I feel like I'm the kind of the.
Yeah, inside I'm like a raging maniac, and you just don't see it.
I guess I could see that.
Yeah, I'm just a good cover up.
Yeah, but no, I probably should get my vitamin D check. Although I'm out a lot. I like to be outside. I like to run and I'm that guy that runs with no shirt on just to scare everybody. Not to scare everybody, but I just like to get sun. I do it because I like to. I don't know. I feel better if I have not trying to sun tan, but just. Maybe subconsciously I'm thinking about my vitamin D, but I like to get out in the yard and get sun and stuff. So
well, it's natural.
I'm probably okay
to want to be outside.
Yeah.